Hey guys, today we're going to be working on this beast of a black truck right here. We're going to be doing the rear brakes. Just want to let you guys know, I thought I was just going to do some pads, but apparently we got halfway into the project and we realized that the caliper slide bolts were bad. So we had to run to the auto parts store, grab new caliper brackets because it's easier to just do the whole bracket than to rebuild the slide bolts. And we brought back the brackets and I ended up installing the brackets, but I also did the pads. So if you're here just for the pads, you may want to skip through the bracketry. All right, let's get into it. So we got the caliper here, we got it exposed, and there's two bolts, I believe, yeah, same as most calipers. There's two bolts on the back side that hold the caliper in, and then we're going to take it off, and that gives you access to your pads. Okay, now that we have the caliper exposed, we're going to remove those two bolts using a 16mm socket on a 3/8 ratchet. This one's nice because it's real long and it'll give me that extra torque, because sometimes those can be a little hard to break off. Now that I have the caliper bolts removed, I'm just going to pry the caliper out of the caliper housing away from the rotor, and that way I can access my brake pads so I can remove those. Pro tip, guys, if you have one of these hangers, we like to hang our calipers on something. Typically it would be the spring that goes over the shock, but this truck is leaf springs, so there's not really much to hang it from, but I'll find something. This is a great way to save your brake lines, because you don't really want your whole caliper hanging off the brake line. So now that we have the brake pads exposed, I'm pretty sure you just pull them straight out, and there's not really a science to it. You just kind of have to pull them out. Now, this one doesn't look too bad, actually, at all. So I wonder if it just glazed over or if the inside one is really bad, because sometimes they wear unevenly. Let's get that backside out. Yeah, this one looks like it glazed over. It's still not worn down that far, though. I don't know why it's squeaking. So your brake pads will typically come with more of these clips, brand new ones. That's just to make sure that your pads sit in there nicely, and so that you can re-lubricate them with some grease, and that way your brakes are moving nice and smoothly. All right, guys, so don't be like me and remove all of the clips before you get your new ones out, because you can reference the ones that you took out to the orientation of the new ones that have to go in, because they only are supposed to go in one way because of the direction that your wheel spins. So I rolled the footage back and I figured out which way they go, and I figured out these ones, you're always going to want to have your tab facing outwards, so towards the back of the truck, away from the caliper. And that's how I figured out that this one goes here, and then the back side is the other kind. So before you want to put the tabs on, what you're going to want to do is you're going to want to take a wire wheel and just brush off all this rust and brake dust that's up in there, and make sure it's a clean surface so that these slide in there smoothly and you don't have to fight them in there or, you know, try and force them in. Now that we've wire wheeled out these front ones, I'm just gonna press down these clips. I figured them out. You have to have all of these tabs that are sticking out of the side of the clip. You want those facing away from the rotor. So, just found that out. Thought I'd let you guys know so you don't get tripped up like me. You can prevent this situation by just referencing the old ones that you took out. Every time you take one out, find one that matches, and then put that one back in that spot so that you don't get mixed up with the different kinds. Now, once you've got your clips in there, what you're going to want to do is you're going to want to take some grease to put in these clips so that your brakes move smoothly over time and generally work better. So just put a little bit in the valley of these clips right here. Nothing too crazy, not too much, not too little, and you'll be good to go. Now you can stick your pads in. Now usually your pads would have like a front, back, left, and right, I guess, but these ones don't. They're just all the same orientation, which is kind of nice. Sometimes the indicator for your wear would be a little piece of metal bracket that sticks out past um the actual material, so that lets you know it starts squeaking when your brake pad gets low. These ones look like they're built in, so it might not even matter the orientation. I'm not sure, but they all go in the same way, so that's pretty nice. Now that I have my two pads installed in my caliper housing, now I need to compress the two pistons in the caliper all the way in so that I can make sure that it fits over those newer, thicker pads that we just put in there. Now, here's a pro tip for you. You can use your old brake pads because they're the perfect shape to fit up in there. Um, and you can put them against these two pistons right here. And that way, when you use this little press, it'll press the whole brake pad down and push both the pistons in at the same time. Now that I've pressed down the one side, I'm going to move it over to the other side just to even it out. Alright guys, so in the middle of filming this brake job on my dad's truck, we realized that the reason that the brake pads that we took off weren't so worn down and the one side was glazed over was because the caliper pins went bad, which is what allows the caliper to freely move. So when your pistons push the one side, they pull this side in as well on the outside right here. Um, the pistons push on the inside of the rotor against that brake pad, and if the caliper doesn't move on this side, it's only ever going to be using that side of the brake. So the caliper is built so that it can slide the whole thing, so that when you press those cylinders together um, against that pad, it also pulls the outside in with it, and that is what gives you brakes on both sides of your rotor. So we had the same thing happen to the front of this truck, to the front ones. These pins right here that the whole caliper slides on and allows for both sides to move, rusted solid, and so that's why one of those pads was stuck, and the other one was working. It was working, but it was only one pad, and the other one was just dragging the whole time. So that kind of sucks. We had to go to the auto parts store. Luckily, O'Reilly's hooked us up. They had two on site ready to go, so that was great. We went and picked those up. We came back here, and now we're going to be installing some new calipers. You could just replace those pins, but it's really just easier to replace the whole caliper. So that's what we're going to do now. Okay, guys, now what we're gonna do is we're gonna try and break off this caliper bracket. I don't know what it's called, but it holds the caliper there, holds the rotor there, and it holds your pads. And we've got our very big socket on there. It's actually a 15/16 socket with a 1/2 inch ratchet. And we got our huge long cheater pipe going all the way under the truck, and my dad about to lift up on it. So here we go. Let's try to break it loose.
Hold it
Hold it where?
on the bolt.
Is it gonna like smash my hand up into there?
Just hold it on the bolt.
There it is.
Okay.
Keep going.
There you go. Let's break the other one loose.
Break the other one.
Yeah.
This one should be easier. If anything.
There you go.
Only takes a 20-foot cheater bar. Now that we broke those loose with our 20-foot cheater bar, I'm gonna now undo them with my 1/2 inch ratchet. And there is our second bolt removed. Now I'm going to transfer all of those little metal clips to the new bracket and install the new bracket. Okay, now that I've got these clips reinstalled, now I'm going to reinstall the caliper mount. Should be able to reinstall our pads and then our caliper. Alright guys, just got the caliper reinstalled on the caliper mount. Went together very smoothly, and that is how you do caliper brackets and brake pads on a 2018 F250 Super Duty. Okay, now that this side is done, I'm probably going to reassemble this back the way that it was. I might not. Probably actually going to leave it because I'm about to do the diff cover in the back. May as well just have the wheel out of the way. I'm going to transfer all my stuff over to the other side of the truck if y'all want to see me do the other side as well. Okay guys, I'm here on the other side of the truck, about to do the same process again. I'm not going to go through and explain all the little details, but I'll go back over some of the things. All right, it looks like that this side wasn't really an issue. I just undid that bolt and it did freely move relatively easily, but it's still good to do it. We have the part, might as well do it. Prevent the rust from happening in the near future. It might still happen, I don't know. But I'm still gonna replace it because may as well. All right, so I couldn't get to that top one with the impact. You just saw me try there. So now I'm gonna grab the 25-foot cheater pipe that we got and see if I can bust it open. All right, that was like the most satisfying break that I've ever had in any bolt. That was like the smoothest, just butter smooth break. Didn't even like crank. It just so that's good. Now I'm gonna undo the rest of it. So these pads don't look too bad either. One of them is glazed, and it's the front one, but only very barely. Not much damage on these. I don't know why they were squeaking so much, but just is what it is. It's good to get uh, these rusty caliper mounts out of the way so we can have good performing brakes because we tow a lot with this truck. And yes, I know the airbag is messed up. We're gonna fix that. But we tow a lot with this truck, so it's important for us to have good, reliable brakes, and we've been putting this job off for way too long. All right, guys, so when you're putting in these brake pads, I found that it's really easy to just put them straight in, kind of like this, and then twist them into their spot. I don't know if they were designed to be like that or what, but it's a lot easier than trying to force them in straight and they won't go. So that's pretty cool. You can just push them straight in and then twist them flat against the rotor. Now I have pushed both of these cylinders all the way in on the caliper, and now I'm going to reinstall the caliper over top of my pads onto the caliper mount. All right, and that is the whole caliper and caliper mount assembly reassembled with the new brake pads. Should all be working greatly now. Now I'm gonna go do the glorious brake pump. Now I'm going to do the brake pump, which is basically you just compressed those cylinders all the way back into the caliper. So now they're no longer uh, in contact with the brake pads. Sorry, it's late at night, getting kind of tired. So I'm gonna show you guys real quick what I mean. So you can see right here, this piece right here is the piece that lets the whole caliper move back and forth. So this allows for those pistons on the back side to pull this front side in. Instead of it just being the back side of the brakes, it now pulls the front side on it. So that's how that works. You can see that little rubber boot right there. And I don't know if y'all can tell, but I can move it by hand. Let's see. It's really hard to tell on video, but I am moving it very slightly. So that means that the brakes aren't tight around that. Obviously, before you drive it, you're going to want to just pump the brake a few times. So you can see I went down pretty far with not a lot of fight back. And now do it again. Only went down like half as far. Do it a few more times till it feels nice and snug. Now, that caliper is squeezing those up against the rotor pretty nicely. So now I know they work, no leaks. There shouldn't be. I didn't disconnect any brake lines. Yeah, and that is this side complete, the other side complete. And that is how you do your rear brakes on a 2018 F-250 Super Duty. All right, now I finished the brake job. We're all good to go on the brakes. Just wanted to give a shout out to our O'Reillys for being just super great, awesome to work with. I'm surprised that they had those calipers in stock. That was really nice, came in clutch. We have to use this truck in a few days for a big long road trip with a trailer. So that's great that we're able to do that. And I wanted to thank you guys for your support. And please leave a comment. Tell me if I did anything wrong. I'm sure I did. The second one went a lot smoother than the first one. Plus, the first one we discovered that we needed new caliper brackets. So, overall, uh, it's really not that bad of a brake job. It's nice to know that we got all new ones in the circle. They might go bad at some point, but I really doubt it. We do have some more videos coming out on this truck. Like I'm about to do this diff cover in a second that'll be released after this video. And I'm also planning to do a few different things. We're going to swap out these running boards right here with some updated newer ones. And then I'll be swapping these ones onto my white F-250, the steel body one over there. And I'm sure we'll be doing plenty more videos on these trucks. I'm really excited to be in this business, and I love the content part about it. I'm brand new to the content part. I've been doing mechanic work for a little bit now. I've got a little bit of knowledge. I love working on the diesels. The diesels are really fun, especially when you get them done. And I'm so thankful that I'm able to do this, and my dad has provided this shop and all the tools and the ability to film this. He bought a brand new DJI, DJI little gimbal thing so I could start filming in 4K, really nice videos. I've been using my phone. He's been using his meta glasses. I broke my meta glasses. That's why you haven't gotten any POVs from me. Uh, the speakers just stopped working, and so I'm gonna get those warranted. And if you have any questions or if you want to let me know anything in the comments, leave a like, drop a follow. See you in the next one.